second pro is that we don't have to save money on whatever the taxes and other stuff.
Okay.
The con would be the fact that, and I guess it could be a con too, that there is less people in control of the money.
Right. There's.
is there any other? Is there any points of wanting to keep it that's factual on those lines on the pros and cons? Is there anybody that's got any other pros to keeping it other than we? It's less people. How do you say it? Potentially less people that have
Well,
access
cooks
to
in the pot.
control it because
Yeah.
right now there's only two
Central
people in our
kitchen,
BOD, but
but
even if we
That works both
reform it,
ways.
put 8 people on it, this would potentially be more people in control of
so
divided.
that
But
could
I got
streamline the
you
process
after
of
the
if we
that,
second
approved
yeah,
it.
that would be a positive on keeping that. But is there any other positives besides that?
There's
I
the
know.
only one I can.
That's why I'm asking. Is there anybody that can speak up any other fact, just bottom line positive to keeping it?
There's
We
the
know
only
that.
other thing I can come up with is that if SM wants to hold the camp out and they get a site and everything, they need insurance. Well, if it doesn't fall under NLs for any reason, whatever, a single individual is going to have to sign the insurance policy.
But does anybody? Is there any reason that we could believe that NL is going to say no? We're not going to have it.
Never historically
So
happened.
if we're pretty
Never
positive,
historically, but if
Maybe he doesn't like that.
Well,
if it does happen, and it's not just insurance, but any assumption of liability, it comes back to a single person signing the contract. You have no corporation standing between you and personal liability of your personal assets.
That's a very, very remote situation, though. I just want to point that out.
I
Like,
know.
it is a possibility, but
It
it's
is.
not one that we have seen happen.
No,
well, yeah,
And
it
it's
can be
not-
it's
mitigated
going to
by
take time
simple
probably
common
to get
sense.
into the.
it absolutely can. Our waivers help with that,
Yeah,
and,
all of
and
that
the steps
stuff.
we take do help with that. But it is, if you put your name on the contract, you're the one assuming the liability.
Which, I mean, anytime you sign your name, you should already have that.
That's
I got him.
assumption.
I got somebody down there first. All right, we had a question down there.
I have a quick question because I can't hear some of what's being said up there.
Got-
Some people are quiet. But my question is in regards to the bank account because I cannot myself remember from years ago. What was keeping us from changing the bank account from Bank of America right now?
From my understanding, the last I could find on it, the BOD had voted to move bank accounts, and then it didn't happen.
Was that because of COVID?
Potentially. I don't know. I haven't looked
Yeah,
that
is
far
there like
back.
a timeline thing that would make that the reason why?
Um,
I haven't gone
I
that
don't
far
know.
back.
I think the latest reason it didn't move was COVID, but it had been voted on and approved to move
Before that,
before that, and it just never
so
happened.
previous BODs kind of dropped the ball.
yes.
That's kind of a recurring problem.
Which is a large part of why we're
Yeah,
actually
that makes sense. I'm just wanting to understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
black and
I
white.
think it's been
What
a lot
happened,
of drop
right?
balls.
Okay.
Oh, I had a question that could lead to a positive
Okay.
for keeping the board of directors.
Okay. What you got?
What happens if something happens to Northern Lights? Say Northern Lights, for whatever reason, disbands their nonprofit organization. Does that mean all individual lights under Northern Lights would have to have individual nonprofits?
We get sucked back into the Burning Lands before.
Or
We get sucked back to what?
Burning Lands.
Burning Lands. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then
Burning-
never mind.
Burning Lands is our safety
I
net
tried.
for when Kingdom's full.
We go back to a freehold if for whatever reason NL would implode.
Yeah.
I know that one that we go back to our previous contract, which was Burning Lands from like the fucking 90s or whatever.
Well, likely it would have to be a new contract.
Well, yeah, we,
All the same.
but like
I have a post on the thing
Still be
from
What you got, Missy?
Kismet. Let me see.
Kismet's got a key.
There we go. From Kismet, who helped set up Northern Lights insurance and policies recently and has been doing some research into this on request of the Monarch, says if SM has their own corporation status, they are not eligible to use the Kingdom insurance due to the Kingdom policy. There is no way for the Kingdom to grant SM access to the insurance. It isn't a matter of the Kingdom declining or denying. They literally cannot allow another corporation to use their insurance.
And
I
how
remember
have
her
we
saying
gotten
that the other day.
SMC's Amgard wall?
We must have had our own or something.
Well, when
Probably haven't been.
if we do campouts under their insurance, it may be that we're not officially.
We actually haven't been covered. Like if anything had ever come up,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked. Like the insurance company would have said, yeah, this doesn't work.
That's like me having a mom and pop and saying that Walmart's insurance covers me. That's not how that works. Like separate corporations are separate umbrellas.
Well, yeah, but
if it's a
don't we have two
level
things
event,
though? We have
even
camps.
though
We have
I then have a question.
Then it's still
maybe
under
some
1 second, Jack. We'll get to you. We still got some conversation going on from the last one.
That's a Northern Lights event, not an SM event.
Even if they sanction the event from the kingdom level, the kingdom is just giving us credits. The kingdom is making it a kingdom level event. So the tourney or the battle games, they're counted as kingdom level. It doesn't make their insurance legally cover us. The insurance would still only cover the company that it's legally covering. I think Jack has something.
Yes, Jack.
So I still don't agree with the recording, especially saying that the monarchy did not require it.
The monarchy asked if I would
They
record it.
suggested it, they did not require it.
Okay, that's not what I said, but okay.
If the NL's insurance was not covering Shrouding this from the time that they purchased it, why is it now we are finding this out instead of then when they purchased it?
We've been operating under the assumption that we've had insurance.
I don't know. That happened before I got here. We would have to ask the people who've been on the board for the last few years. So, Catheria, Jack, why haven't we known that we're not under the
Not
Kingdom's
that board. That would be the
insurance?
NL board that you would need to ask that question to.
Well,
I'm
it would
sorry?
be both.
That's NL board.
That would be the NL board.
Our board
Then
would still be responsible
We
for
were
making sure
under
that
the
we're
Interface
assumption
on
after
mundane
being
level.
told that we were covered, that we were covered.
So you're saying the Kingdom said we were covered? Okay, well,
Lands in the kingdom.
All lands, that's why we have a contract with NL.
okay, so we should look into that.
Yeah, let's look into that. Sure.
But
If that is not the case, they should have said something when they got the insurance and not just waited 2 years and then bring it out now.
right. But as a separate entity, we're still legally liable for that, regardless of what they told us.
yeah, we should have, as a separate entity, we should have double checked that ourselves.
So let's do that going forward.
Yeah, if we go forward with a BOD,
Does
like
that mean that we've actually been holding events?
uninsured.
That,
Uninsured
no,
but sanctioned.
Yeah, but like there's a requirement for insurance for a certain number of people, right? So
The site
we
requirement.
may have been holding events illegally for a while.
How about we not talk about things that we're not knowledgeable on at the moment, like
Yeah.
how our current insurance functions?
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways that event insurance works that is on the table. So that is a topic for another time.
It still comes down
Which
to we're not
We
covered
need to
by.
have, though.
Yeah.
It still comes down to we're not currently covered by the Northern Lights insurance.
So if we keep the BOD, one of the things we will have to do absolutely is find and maintain an insurance,
Yes.
which means
Or
that the fees
fine.
will go up by what, like somebody said, $1,300 or something.
I mean, it depends on how
know.
cheap of an insurance policy we can find for the group.
Why don't we just use actually like assessed for NL?
Yeah, so when do we
Then
vote?
it'll be about 1,300 bucks.
They have to cover the amount of butts in the seats for the entire year. So, $1,300. I'm just going to ballpark 500 people through gate are now covered through the year. If 100 people show up at each event, that's 5 events for the year. If we go over that, then we have to pay more. But we are covered. We have to cover up to that. It's like giving a lawyer a retainer.
Yeah,
We
it's
are
a
allowed to
retainer.
cover up to 500 people. I don't know the exact number. I'm
Yeah,
just spitting a number out there.
Yeah, ballpark. You're good.
Exactly. It's like, I know exactly what. No, I've just dealt with insurances before with Jack and Catheria and a few other people that are out here for NL and with Rosewood when we were doing that. But that $1,300 covers probably about 500 people through the gate with probably $1 million coverage.
And that's individual people, right?
That's individual people through the gate. So that's if
Not
all the kids go through. That's a tick. But there is a minimum. But that's another conversation. If anybody wants to have this conversation with me to be more knowledgeable on it, feel free to approach me about it. I'm not going to spew a bunch of stuff I don't know, but feel free to approach me about it, and I'll cover it.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Do we have any other pros or cons we want to mention? We've been at this for about an hour, and I feel like we've covered a lot of topics a couple of times. So do we have any?
I have just one small one as a person that's coming from what was formerly Blade's Edge. You guys are now governing over, and we are very appreciative to be able to continue to do what we do and keep LARP in Kitsap County. Would any of this affect the daily runnings of anything down there?
I think so.
I don't believe.
Across there.
I don't believe so. Right now we have y'all's funds in. I forget what is the exact term.
Correct. The PM binder is currently mothballed and in safekeeping.
Yeah, yeah. And so that would have to be written into any sort of contracts that we're doing to keep that separate,
Okay.
because that's not SM's money.
And then that could just be falling under like actual discretionary
Like we
funds
really
for.
want to keep LARP up there, and we would like to be involved and make sure that we are supportive of whatever goes on here, so that we can continue to operate up there as well.
Okay. I'll get to you. Yes.
So, just to quick cover this issue is that you're not going to be able to put that into the dissolution. That'll need to be another Althing, probably prior to the full-on dissolution.
Okay.
That states and puts into record that we are currently holding on to X. Here's the ledger for that. It is currently with Daciana PM, blah, blah, blah. This is monies owed to this group if they reform at any given time, right, in the future. That has to be done here. That can't be done during the dissolution of the BOD.
That's totally just.
Because all the monies have to be, with the change to the dissolution, the amendment to the dissolution portion of the articles, you have to state that the funds are going to one or, to the debtors or to where's its direction going. That all has to be completely noted in there. So if we say in there that it's all going to SM, cool. That's where it's all going. It's going to the social group, Shrouding Mist, that meets at Sprinker Park on Sundays at this current junction. We can't state in there and break down every little micro thing that says, we owe this debtor, we owe this debtor, we owe this debtor.
Yeah, that's not that.
Because that again is that statement of it's a debtor. We're holding. So.
Tansy, you had a question, and then I got you.
As a separate entity from NL, do we even have the ability to be absorbing Blade's Edge as one of our, I don't remember what you
We're
call it.
sponsoring them as a fighter practice now.
Okay.
They are not a lane.
Okay.
They are a
A
group of
satellite.
individuals that meet to fight each other that we are sponsoring for Amp Guard Club.
Okay, so
If
does that
I'm
have
correct.
any effect on
That's
like,
basically the gist of it.
their
Yeah.
legal ability to access their own money and stuff like that?
Say that again.
Does that have any effect on their ability to access their own
They
money?
don't have monies right now.
We
They
don't
don't have
have
any
monies. We are not a part. We
Okay.
are operating under your monarchy rule, and all of our PM binder, everything has been mothballed and held and frozen in the eventuality that we hope to get enough interest back to open that park again.
Okay. So you're basically on hiatus from NL and you just kind of joined us as people.
Correct. We have paused, and you guys have given us the ability to grow our numbers without.
You had a question, and then we've got a question online.
Yeah, so being that there's the issues with people saying that they've talked to someone about this item that they want to buy for the park and whatnot, can we make a centralized thing to where everyone knows about it? So that way it's not like, oh yeah, I talked to so and they said that was a great idea, and so I need to get money from so and so, but this so and so didn't talk to the other so and so they don't know about it, but it's still an issue.
Well, that's basically what happened with the last one. Is we had a big park conversation about it, and me and the previous PM made a decision together, and that directive just didn't get passed from PM to PM in the shuffle of all the other information.